I mean, let me tell you, I was so influenced by that album and your group that, you know, years later when I became a full-time DJ as DJ Vlad, one of my aliases was Vlad the Butcher.
I remember that.
Which is
I got one of those.
You got one of those?
Like 5 of those, dude.
Dope. Yeah, which is a play off Joe Nicolo, aka the Butcher.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of partly based it off that and the Gangs in New York.
I found that CD 2 days ago. I was going through all my old shit. I said, oh shit, I totally forgot to bring it.
Yeah, man, such a incredible album. Once again, who's ever listening to this right now, if you haven't heard that album, go pull it up on Spotify right now.
And what's
smoke
crazy,
a blunt and just zone out to this. You will not be disappointed.
And what's crazy is that Muggs made that whole thing off of SB 1200.
Oh, that's that dirty, gritty sound.
All that shit. But think
with
about
what, like 10 seconds of sample time or something?
With 10 seconds of sample time, he created all that shit on that first album and most of the second album too. I don't think he started fucking with the ASR and MPC till after the third album or something like that. But the first 2, I believe, were straight up SB 1200s.
Okay, so this album comes out and it goes platinum?
Not right away. It took a minute, you know, because, you know, our first single, well, we had a double A side for the first single, which was Funky Phil Ones and Kill a Man. And to be safe, Sony wanted to put out Funky Phil One first, but someone suggested making it a double A side to give DJs the option to flip it if they wanted to. Because they loved Kill a Man, but they weren't sure if it was going to get play.
Not exactly a radio single.
It's not a radio single, right?
About killing a man.
Right. So Funky Phil One comes out, and it's doing decent.
Yeah, not my favorite Cypress Hill song, I'll be honest.
I'll tell you, like, out of all the Cypress Hill songs, you know, it's a cool song, but it's not one of the strongest.
It's not Kill a Man.
But it was safe for Sony.
I can see it's a radio type single. Yeah,
it was safe, but it wasn't getting that kind of traction. You know, people fucked with it, but it wasn't getting that kind of traction. And we were on tour while they were putting this shit out, and we did the video for it. People thought we were on the East Coast, but we weren't. We were downtown LA, you know, and making it seem as though we were on the East Coast because it was like on some alley cat type shit, right? But you know, we get on this tour with Naughty by Nature, who, you know, they're our boys, man. They constantly looking out for us, and you know, they had us come opening up for them while they had the #1 song in the nation at the time with OPP. And people started, you know, DJs started flipping over to Kill a Man. And we start getting traction on the mix show play, right? You know, motherfuckers are playing Kill a Man left and right on the mix shows. And Sony says to us, we need you guys to come off a tour for a few days to come film a video for Kill a Man. It's getting traction. And we end up filming 2 videos, one in Red Hook, which was Hand on the Pump. And then we eventually filmed Kill a Man throughout different boroughs in New York. That's why, you know, you see us in Harlem, you see us, I believe, in Brooklyn, you see us over there in, on 42nd Street and in a couple of other places. We were all over New York for that one. David Shady Perez was the one who directed Kill a Man, and he had us going all over the fucking place. But, you know, and then we get the cameos from, you know, UMC's Q-Tip, Ice Cube, and Tim Dog. You know, that was all organic. None of that shit was planned. So, you know, this song's starting to bubble, it's starting to go, and then Chuck D and the Bomb Squad hear the song and they want to use it for Juice, right?
Yeah, Chuck D actually talked about that in our interview.
And it worked the other way. And then, you know, Sony had that void. Who do you think they filled that void with Def Jam left? Rough House.
Okay, yeah, with Fugees and Cypress Hill and yeah.
It's the way the ball bounces sometimes.
We didn't know that was Chuck making that call for us. We had no fucking clue. I didn't know till...
And I was already a fan of that song. So when I heard it in Juice, I'm like, oh, Cypress Hill.
That propelled the song. So like we're getting more traction now and more spins and more plays and people starting to talk about Cypress Hill. And then, you know, eventually now the video hits and motherfuckers are fucking with it. And then Juice hits. And that shit propels it like in such a way that none of us, you know, were prepared for or even dreamed of happening. We did not know that movie was gonna fucking blow that fucking song way the fuck up. I mean, it was already going, you know, but that movie actually fucking just helped it propel to a degree that we just did not see happening, and things started to change from there, and they started talking about us, and now we're getting shows, and you know our shows are off the hook. But it was a trip how it turned around once they flipped from Funky Phil one to Killin' Man. It was a totally different flip. We started off on the 200 charts, right? I believe we were at 170 when we came in. We dropped off for like 3-4 weeks, and then when Killin' Man popped off, it fucking rose back up, and it started like steadily rising back up for the whole year, for about 1.5 years. And when by the time we released Black Sunday, it popped all the way up to number 5, the album.
Right, because I mean that first album goes double platinum.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah.
And I guess Ice Cube showed up in that first video.
The Killin' Man video.
The Killin' Man video. And you guys became friends.
Yeah, you know, the thing that was always coming around to me from other cats that we would eventually meet, like Busta Rhymes, my homie, and we were really close back in those early days. And he would always tell me how the homies from EPMD are the ones who put him on to Cypress Hill. And Ice Cube told me the same story, that EPMD told him about us, and then Ice Cube would tell other people about us. And we were being talked about it, you know, amongst people that we fucking respected and we absolutely wanted to get down with. And you know, so we knew that Ice Cube had been like talking about us to people, like, yo man, these are the new motherfuckers right here, and EPMD as well. When we were filming the video, someone calls us that was friends with somebody that worked with Cube or something. He said, hey man, Ice Cube's in town. He heard you're doing the video. He wants to come down, or some shit like that. So the story goes. Everybody tells a different story, but who knows what the real one was. But he shows up, and we're like, oh shit, Cube showed up to our video. That was huge to us. Because, you know, hey, it's fucking Ice Cube, you know?
Right. This is after he left NWA.
This is after
he had already dropped America's Most Wanted, which was his best album
he was
ever.
One of the, you know,
he was on fire.
He was on fire. He was one of the titans at the time, you know what I'm saying? So we were like, it was like, wow, this dude came out to represent us. It meant a lot to me. And
big cosign, yeah.
Yeah, and then after that, you know, we became pretty good friends. You know, and not to downplay any of that shit, but Q-Tip too. He fucking would just happen to be walking down the street, saw what was up, and he got down with us, and we became friends after that too, man. I mean, you know, we hung out many times during like the Jack the Rappers and new music seminars and shit like that. We very much click up together like that. Not necessarily Ice Cube, but Q-Tip and some of that crew. But yeah, I mean, Cube and I became friends. We were hanging out here. You know, he was a big influence to me. I always said, you know, the guys that I looked at to study, that I had to be as good as, he was one of them. You know, like I look to the certain people that I can propel myself to that level. You know, I want to get to that level right there. So I got to, you know, study the style, study the pockets, study the content, and then figure out where I'm at in all that. You know what I mean? So he was always one I looked up to, you know, like as one of those guys for inspiration. Like, you know, how you captivate motherfuckers, you know, in how you're saying it, the style you're spitting. And he was one of the masters. He still is. You get him on the right shit, man, this motherfucker goes off.